Okay, so we are at file handling. How can we handle file in Python, right? So till now what we have seen? Till now we have seen one function input, right? Input function. What input is doing? It is reading input from keyboard. And for printing, we are using print function. Before this input in earlier Python version, we use this function raw input, right? Okay, now we are using input function. So you can remember this raw input or input, right? So input is just equivalent to this, except that it assumes the value is a valid Python exception and returns the evaluated result to you, right? So this is a good way to use right now in all the cases. If you see, all the tutorials are referring to this, right? This is your earlier function. We earlier used this when we were using Python 2.8 or 2.9. Now we are using 3.12 version, right? Yeah, so this is how we read input from keyboard, right, and write our output like this. Now we will do our read write operation on files. Suppose there is a txt file, suppose there is an image file, right, image or jpeg file, right, suppose there is a .py file, suppose there is a video file, right? How you will work on these files? So these files we are not going to study right now, right? We are not going to study these files right now, to be frank. We are just focused on the raw Python files using the text. I have not used these files in this file handling, but in general, if you want to read an image, the same way you will read this, the same way you can read other files also. There's no issues in that. But for this, I need case studies. How I can show you reading image and all these things. So generally, image part we do with OpenCV, if you remember. Right? OpenCV is a C library, C or C++ library. CV represent computer vision. What represent computer vision, right? So you can do your all the computer vision or image analytics or video analytics using OpenCV. Also the video file also, right? And then you can apply deep learning techniques or some other techniques. CNN, if you heard about CNN, there's a deep learning technique convolution in neural network, right? So this is used basically with images, right? But right now we are mainly focused on txt files. I will check some case study on this image or these things. If I will find, we can try those also. But if you see, all the books and the tutorials generally based on txt file, right? Okay, let's move ahead. Now whenever you have file, right, if you want to do any operation on file, suppose this is your file, right, this is your txt file, right, you have written some text or some paragraphs into this, right, text paragraphs, right? Now what you want to, if you want to do any operation on this file, you have to read this, or before reading this you have to open this. So first we open and then we will do our operation read and write. Only two operations are there, read and write. So whenever we open a file, we do two operations, read and write. That's it. These kind of two operations we generally do perform on any file, right? So first we need to open it. So how we will open it? So in Python it is very simple. If you compare with Java and C++, you just need to use simple open function. Open for open, read for read, and write for write. That's it. Very simple operations are there. It is not that difficult. So if you want to open a file, you use open function and just give the file name, and you can also give access mode. Default access mode is read. So in which mode you want to read? You want to access this, read, write, or append, right? I will explain you all three mode. Read is basically for reading, write is basically for writing or overwriting, and if you want to append, because your file is already there, you want to append some text on it, then you can use append. I will also explain you those modes in detail. Another important concept is buffering concept, right? Buffering is basically because if you do, right, so suppose your file is on disk, this is your disk, right? your file is here, right? Your file is here, and this is your code, right? This is your code which is running. Okay, now this code will read this data and write from here. So if you don't use buffering, then it will read character wise, each character wise it will read, or for 1 byte at a time, right? Maybe character or at byte level it will read at a time, 1 byte at a time, right? So you can understand how many read write operation will be there from disk. So disk interaction will increase, right? So this will slow down your speed. For faster thing, you can use buffer value. Buffer is just you can say size of the byte, how many bytes. Suppose you want to read 1024 byte and keep it into the buffer, and then you will write on the disk or read on the disk. Also when you read, you will read this much amount from disk and keep in your buffer memory, then you can use that data or read that data from buffer, right, instead of your hard disk. So doing these operations, this buffer will make your operation much more faster, right? Right now, from tutorial perspective, we will use a small file, but when you have file of a GB file, okay, or 2 GB file, or with 3 GB file of any video or something, then in that case you need this buffering, right? Or maybe a file which is 500 MB, a PDF file, or maybe a TXT file which is huge context or huge content, then in that case it will become slow. So you can use this to make faster access, right? That is what importance of this. Access mode is for mode, read, write or append, and buffering is size of data that you want to read and keep into your buffer, right? So I will show you all of these things with example. Just understand the flow first, right? Sorry, I have written something wrong here. Basically this is an example of buffer, right? Buffering, this example of buffering, right? Okay, right? Understand this. If I will use buffering 0, it means no buffering. You are directly direct disk write happens. Directly you will do write operation on disk. It is slowest, right? Similarly, if you will use 1, it means it is generally useful for locks, but it is again slower, not that faster. If you use n bytes, then it is fastest, right? You can use -1. This is system by default buffering, optimized based on system, whatever system you are using, based on that it will automatically handle this, right? So for checking this, you can try this operation, right? In one you are doing only 0 buffering, and here you are using 1024 bytes. When you will run this, you will see the difference. This will be faster and this will be slower, right? This will be slower, this will be faster, right? So these kind of operations you need to understand. Okay, let's move ahead. Right now, if you see, okay, I said I will only use this open function, right? But if you are seeing here, I am using this with. Why I am using this with? The reason is with statement is used to open files safely in Python. Ensure that the file is automatically closed after it is no longer needed. Once this will execute print statement, after that it will release this, and it will close this file then, right? So if you don't use close, right, generally we use open function and then we close the file. Generally we read open file and close file. So I was telling you, first we open the file, then we do read write operation, we also have append operation, right? Append is also write operation, right? And then we do close. Then we close the file. Sometimes you forgot to close that. So it is a good practice, instead of using this, use with. With will automatically close this, right? So auto close file with, yes, it won't do that. It will also handles exception. It won't. Save for larger file, it is not. Sometimes may cause memory leaks, right? So with is a good way to read file, that is recommended. And if you see open source programs or programs that were written by experienced developer, they generally use with, right? So that is what the importance of with. You can also read without with, no problem, right? Now understand, this is with, this is open file as file. So it is equivalent to what? It is equivalent to this file equal to open, name of the file is example txt, right? Example txt, comma, read mode r. This is equivalent to this, but it won't close. It will close after use, right? So we have seen 2-3 things. One function open, one function close to file, right? We understood access mode. I will also explain you in detail. We have 3 modes, right? Read, write, and append. We have also seen buffering operation, how buffering can speed up your reading and writing, right? Reading and writing, how to speed up, basically speed, right? Speed up your read and write. Okay, now I explained you this R is a read mode, only for reading, and W is write, only for writing, but it overwrites. That is a problem. So the solution is A, append. It opens a file for appending the data, right? Now you can also use R plus. This will do read plus write. This will also do write plus read. A plus, this will do read and append both. So whenever plus, it means it can do both, read and write, write and read, right? Also read and append. Now we have 2 more, RB and WB. This is generally used for binary mode. Binary mode means you are writing your data into byte way, right? Into byte format, right? Also we have some attribute. If you see back your, this is your file attribute. If you want to check whether is your file is closed or open, then if it is closed, then it will return you true. Otherwise it will return you false, right? True or false. Okay. Mode, you can also check file mode, whether it is a read mode, write mode, or append mode, or R plus mode, or W plus mode, or A plus mode. Similarly, you can also check file name. This object is representing which file name, right? So these are attributes. These are not functions that you can use. I will show you each of them with example. Just understand the workflow, what things are there, right? This is the function by using you can close a file. So Python automatically closes a file when the reference of object of file is reassigned to another file, right? Python automatically also handles, but it's a good practice to use this or use with, right? Because Python garbage collection is advanced, right? It handles all these things so that memory issue will not happen, right? But as a developer, you should remember all these things. Okay, let's move ahead. Okay, write function, to write a string. Generally we will write data into a string format, right? Write method does not add a new line character. It won't add. You have to add this if you want a new line into that, right? Okay, let's move to read. Read is simple to read the data of how many bytes you want to read. 5 byte, 5 character, 50 character, then you can define here that, right? Okay, I am stopping here. This I will explain you later, otherwise you will go somewhere, right? You will not understand what is happening. Now I will I will open a file or create a file, and then we will do read write buffering. We will try, we will use with clause, and after that we will see this null and seek. Okay, let's move. Okay, I'm closing this. Okay, let me create one new file, right? Okay, just give this file name file handling, right, .py. Okay, I have this file. Now I need to open one file. Name of the file is example, any name you can give, example.txt, right? I want to open this in a read write mode. All right, I will open this and I will give this into a variable. Suppose variable name is f. You can give any name to the variable. Suppose I am giving this name file, right, for your understanding purpose, right? Now I will do file dot write. Right now this file is not there. I hope it will create this automatically. I need to write here welcome to free online class, right? Okay, now let me run this. For running this, I'm just first I need to save this. You can see here white symbol. Now I will press Ctrl S. It's saved, right? For running this, you can write Python. Your name of it is file handling.py. Okay, no such directory or file, right? No such directory or file. Let's try with this. Ctrl S. In read mode it is not creating it, but in write mode it created the file. And this file, you can see I clicked on this file, welcome to free online class. So you can see this write mode. Okay, let me create example 1.txt, right? Save this. Let me run this again. It has created example 1.txt file. After creating this file, it has written this content on this, right? So you are opening file with this, and in write mode you can create the file if file will not exist. Okay, now I will do again writing. I will again write file dot write hello everyone, right? For learning purpose we are trying some string hello everyone, right? Okay, now I am saving this. Now I will run this, right? Now let me go to example 1.txt. You can see it is writing just after this. Okay, now I am closing this file, right? Close file.close, right? I open this file. Let me write a comment. Open file, write content on file, close the file, right? Now again open the file, right? Now again open the file. Okay, and after opening I will write this, right? It means I am opening file, I am writing this, I am closing this, and I will again open file and I will again write. Okay, or do one thing. First I am doing commenting this. Okay, Control S, and let me run this first. So you can see here all the data has erased, only this is written, right? Now after this I am adding these two syntax, and now I will run it again. Now you can see here it overwritten. Sorry, this syntax has overwritten the content, existing content, overwritten, right? If you don't want to overwrite, then you should open this into append mode, A plus, append and read, right? Now if I will do this, Control S, if I will run this, Now you can see it is writing after, just after this. So understand this thing. This W, okay, this write was earlier, it was overwriting this because of write mode, but in append mode it will add the content. It will add the content to existing file. So remember this, right? So we did open, write and append, right? Now let me do read. File dot read, okay, read, and I will read this content, and this will be into txt, text, and then I will do print text, right? Control S. Okay, let me run this again. I am seeing nothing here, right? Why? The reason is my current cursor is here, right? There's nothing after this. So in that case, if I want to read that, then I need to move my cursor. And how I can check this? Let me show you here. Print file dot, there's a function named tail. Tail will tell you exactly where your cursor is, right? So let me run this now. You can see a cursor at 44th character, right? So in that particular case, you need to seek this to 0. You need to seek this to 0. That is why I was showing you this seek, tail and seek, right? Seek 0, right? By default it will seek to the starting point, right? Let's try this. Okay, offset argument, okay, offset is compulsory from, okay, from, by default it will take from beginning, offset, seek. Okay, let's try this. Let me move this. File dot seek 0, 0, right? Let's try this. Let's see what is happening. Right now you can see it is starting from start and going till end. Why? Now earlier this cursor was at 44th. After this, let me show you. After this, your file cursor is where, right? Initially it is at 44, then it reached to 0, and then it is reading from here till here, right? So you need to remember this, where your cursor is and where you need to bring, right? So these things you can understand why tail will tell you the location of cursor, and you can move your cursor, right? Move your cursor. 0, 0 means 0 is your 0 means this 0 is from beginning file. Offset argument indicates a number of bytes to be moved. I don't want to move anything. 0. I just want to move this at the starting point, right? Okay. Right now we are doing whole thing without with operation. You can also use with operation here, right? For with, similarly this, how you can write, right? So I think I should create another file handling 2.py, right? Okay, good. So you can see, suppose I am reading this example.txt. Instead of this, how I can write with, this is the same syntax you can keep here, right? As file. This is as similar to this. Now you can do operation, whatever option you want to do. file dot read, whatever you will read, it will read whole data and return into a content, right? And you can print your content, right? Print your content, right? After printing this, if you want to check here, file dot closed, right? Close this property, it will return you true or false, right? Let's see this. Control S. Okay. Let me run this. File handling 2.py. Right? You can see it started from here. After this indentation, when I was asking this question, file dot closed, it is returning true. Because when you move out from this indentation, you can see whatever code inside with it is in this indentation. After this indentation, this context will go out of the way. This context will go out of the scope. But let me check another thing. The print content, right? Control S. Let's try this. No, again this is also going out of. Okay, no, this is not going. Read, this is okay. Read, let's just open to read mode, right? Just second, do we have anything into this? Okay, we have this. Let me run this again, this file handling 2. Okay, this read is not at a starting point. Its cursor is not at a starting point. Just a second, let's go to read function. What read function is saying? Read method reads a string from an open file. Okay, count is optional. Okay, let me just pass here 10. Let's see what is happening. Again, so the cursor is at the end. So let's try R plus. Okay, let's try A plus. So it depends on the mode, right? No. Okay, try R and file dot seek 0, 0. Control S. Not. Again, it is reading the file example.txt. Just a second, let me comment this. Oh my god, why it is happening like this? Why it is not reading? Maybe we have something inside this or not. Sorry. How to do this? Okay, now we have this content already. We have created this file. Control S. File is closed, but content is not showing here. It is not also showing here. Move that. Okay. Before moving this, let's do one thing. Print file.tell. Control S. 0. It is 0. Why it is not reading then? Suppose I am giving not 20, right? If it is 0, it should read something. It is not reading anything. It should read these lines. Maybe I am doing some mistake. Let me check syntax. Read 5. Tell output 0. Read 5. Output 5. 5 character. Read mode with. Yeah, it should give something. Move to 10th, right? I don't understand. Maybe I'm doing some mistake, right? It might be possible. previous file it was doing some read operation. In previous file, yeah, we were showing here, right? And last time when we were running this, yeah, it is reading here. We are seeking that, and we were reading file here. It was working. Okay, let's try maybe issue with this file. We have some issues. Let's try with another file. The same way we are in. Okay, let's try this. It should work. Yeah, it is reading 20 character. Yeah, it is reading whole. Right, maybe some issue with this file with example, but now you can see it is working. First it is 0, then it is writing this, then you can see here this file is closed, but content you can use, right? Content you can use across file, but your file is closed, right? Other property that you can check, like print file dot name, right? And one more is there, print file dot mode, right? Let's try this. Let's see what is coming. File name is example.txt and mode is read mode, right? You are into read mode. So these are the attributes that you can also check and try with the file, right? Another thing is, important thing is,